Girl group Young Posse has faced one controversy after another since their debut, with their concept and inclusion of inappropriate content sparking again and again waves of backlash and disgust among netizens. One of the main issues with the group that people have been pointing out for years is their concept. The aesthetic of Young Posse is heavily inspired by the hip-hop culture of the 1990s, which is closely associated with the Black community. Many netizens criticized this concept as soon as the group was announced, arguing that their entire aesthetic is just weird and it feels more like a mockery of Black culture rather than a tribute to it. The group's performances also attracted a lot of criticism, with some netizens angered by the lack of representation or credit to Black culture. People soon began arguing that Young Posse's entire concept was just a blatant case of cultural appropriation, and even one of the worst examples of this issue in K-pop. Despite the growing backlash, Young Posse's company DSP Media decided to just ignore the problem and go ahead with the concept anyway. In fact, instead of phasing out the hip-hop inspired aesthetic, they doubled down on it. With each new comeback, the members of Young Posse were shown in outfits clearly ripped off from Black trends and gang culture, and for many netizens, this was just too much. At this point, people began arguing that either DSP Media was extremely out of touch or they were doing it on purpose to attract attention. Others instead wondered why the group was even given this aesthetic, as Koreans didn't seem to care about this concept and international fans were deeply divided about it. While Young Posse and DSP Media never directly addressed this issue, it seems like they're at least aware of it. During an interview in 2024, the members were asked about their concept. Soonhee answered that they really love and respect hip-hop culture and argued that while they know that they will never be able to fully represent it, they wanted to use it as a tool to express their style in a creative and playful way. After this explanation, netizens were divided, with some arguing that their aesthetic still amounts to cultural appropriation, while others said that they weren't doing anything disrespectful by having a hip-hop inspired concept. Nevertheless, this isn't even the biggest issue with the group, and many netizens have been even more concerned about the inappropriate content the members have often been exposed to. Just like the accusations of cultural appropriation, this issue also began before the group even debuted. As soon as DSP Media announced the name of the group, netizens raised concerns about the similarity between the word posse and a vulgar term for female private parts. Once again, the issue divided netizens, and while some argued that it sounds especially bad with the Korean pronunciation and the word young next to it, others were surprised that people were even associating the two similarly sounding terms. DSP Media officially stated that the group's name is based on the Latin word posse, meaning can do or possible, so Young Posse means a group of young people gathered with a purpose. However, the term posse is also often associated with gangs, and it's unclear whether the company realized that it was also too similar to a vulgar word. In any case, some netizens suggested that DSP Media should just change the group's name before their first release, just to avoid any potential controversy, but in the end, this didn't happen. Already marked in controversy, Young Posse debuted in October 2023 with their first EP, Macaroni Cheese, and things only got worse from there. The title track immediately gained a lot of attention for being a fun and unserious track that repeats lyrics about eating the dish of the same name, but many netizens argued that the song had a hidden NSFW meaning. With lyrics like drop it on my body and straight into my mouth, it seemed quite obvious that the entire song was an euphemism for something else. This was made even clearer by the song's music video, which contains a lot of suggestive imagery. Despite this, the song was officially described as a track that embodies the group's quirky charms, with lyrics related to being tired of repetitive daily life. Of course, this explanation didn't convince anyone, and the group received a lot of backlash, arguing that the song's connotations were definitely problematic. This problem is made even worse by the members' age, as they were all born between 2004 and 2009, meaning that when the song was released, they were all either minors or barely adults. The controversy surrounding the group's concept and inappropriate content continued over the following months, and in fact, the backlash only grew stronger. In June 2024, the YouTube channel Beautiful Nerd shared a video featuring two comedians who acted as a satirical K-hip-hop band who were seeking to write lyrics for an idol group, which ended up being Young Posse. This was supposed to be a comedy sketch featuring Young Posse members Soonhee and Yeonjung, but viewers found it very uncomfortable. When the two idols arrived at the studio, one of the two comedians, who went by the name Kpop, greeted them by shaking their hands. He first shook Yeonjung's hand, holding it for an extended period of time while she was noticeably trying to pull herself away. He then does the same with Soonhee, and in both cases, the group's bodyguard had to intervene to break up the uncomfortably long handshake. A few moments later, Kpop attempted to get Soonhee and Yeonjung's phone numbers under the guise of communicating while working together, while heavily implying that he's looking for something else. The comedians then started discussing music with the two idols, and Kpop read the lyrics of their song XXL out loud. However, when saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he replaced the I in 6 with an E, repeating replaying it multiple times and surprising everyone in the room. While the entire video was meant to have a comedic tone, many felt like Young Posse's inclusion in such a sketch was inappropriate, also considering their age and the fact that the comedians are around 10 years older than them. In fact, both Soonhye and Yeonjung looked visibly uncomfortable throughout the whole thing, and fans were angered at DSP Media demanding more protection for the group. However, the agency hasn't done much to protect the members and has instead been accused of exploiting them after a new round of controversies exploded in June 2025. This time, the scandal began when DSP Media's parent company, RBW, announced a collaboration with the AI chatbot app Almigo. This app is designed to simulate private conversations with celebrities by employing an AI-generated version of them that users can talk to, giving them the illusion of a real interaction. This kind of app is increasingly common and always very controversial, and netizens were angered when they saw that RBW was allowing various female idols under their label to be featured on Almigo. This is already quite bad, but what's even worse is that users can choose between a regular conversation and what's described as spicy content, and among the idols featured was also Jina of Young Posse, who's only 19 years old. As soon as the announcement was made, it sparked a wave of outrage among netizens, with countless people arguing that allowing users to simulate inappropriate conversations with idols is disgusting and also dangerous. Others were also worried that this chatbot would be one more step towards creating explicit deepfakes of idols. Some people also pointed out how RBW only included female idols on the app, making it even more clear what kind of audience they were trying to attract. Digging deeper into Almigo, netizens also noticed that the app featured various photos and videos of all the Young Posse members when they had just debuted and were still minors. In particular, the spicy chatbot option for Gianna was based on her from when she was just 17. With the outrage among netizens exploding, the app apparently removed its spicy section and replaced it with a prime option, although this seems to be just a change in name, not in content. Soon afterwards, Gianna was removed from the app along with all mentions of Young Posse, and RBW issued an apology about the issue. However, the controversy didn't really calm down, and netizens are still demanding the complete removal of any file used to generate AI content of idols, as many believe that they will try to relaunch the project once the scandal has passed. In any case, Young Posse continued with their activities, and in August, they released a new EP, but once again, the concept and inappropriate content featured in the album caused a lot of backlash. Netizens were especially angered by the song Soju, with many immediately pointing out that a track featuring teenagers singing about alcohol was a terrible idea. Things got much worse when people saw that the lyrics of the song included very suggestive lines. The inclusion of these lyrics reignited the controversy surrounding the inappropriate content of Young Posse songs, especially considering the presence of underage members. Some fans tried to defend the group, arguing that those lines were written and sung by the adult members, and in Korean, one of the lyrics is used as slang for lose your mind. But these arguments have done little to calm down the backlash. In fact, many think that these explanations don't take anything away from the fact that the members who are minors are still being exposed to the suggestive lyrics. Countless netizens are disgusted by how the members of Young Posse, especially those who are still minors, keep being exposed to inappropriate content. Many have argued that the members are actually very talented, and all the issues they've been involved with have only hurt their reputation. However, after all these controversies, many have just had enough of DSP Media's treatment of the group, and a lot of netizens are demanding a change. Also, the scandals surrounding Young Posse are part of a larger discussion on the role of minors in K-pop groups, and an increasing number of netizens are demanding that companies stop debuting underage idols.